Hello, happy Friday. Welcome to Richard's Fairy Princess. I am Allison Troy. And yeah, here we are. And yep, exactly. Thank you, Chris. Welcome to Shiny Plastic People. Today I am working on my 1984 Masters of the Universe coloring book. My goal is to finish this whole book this year in 2024, 40 years later. It seems like a really long time, but hey. And today I'm going to be working on this page with Ram Man. And I have scanned it, cleaned it up, and printed it on a thicker cardstock paper so that I can have a little fun with it. So yeah, that's what we're going to do. I am going to put on a little music in the background because hey, that's what we do. All right, let's see. And I'm going to start with the feeding the ducks music. There we go. Got some ducks feeding, and we're good. So this one, I do need to do a little cleanup on it, if you will. So I'm going to go in and finish a few of the places where it's not fully complete, just so that I have a little complete. So I'm going to go up and finish these stones for the archway. I'm not sure if this is supposed to be Castle Grayskull, because if so, if you can just sort of ram through the front door like that, probably not the most secure against Skeletor and the forces of evil. So. Alright, so I finished that up. And this is for the top. I'm not going to do that for the whole thing. Now I'm going to do some borders. Just so I can stay in the lines-ish. And for that, I'm going to use the blue, because the blue should mostly blend, depending. I'm probably going to do this as if it's a Snake Mountain, so I am going to keep some of this sort of out of frame and then get the black pen, because I am going to sort of extend the wood here outside of the frame. And I find myself doing that more and more with the pages from this book, and some of that's just because the way they drew these, they didn't necessarily draw the full page. So technically, they didn't really worry about borders. They just drew enough of the page so that the kids would have something to color. And again, as I said before, I cannot imagine any of them expected 40 years later anybody would care about these coloring books that they would do. So I'm just going to get the black pen again, and I'm going to finish some of this wood so that it extends out past the frame. And my drawing skills are not what they used to be. It's okay, because it's not. I sort of want to finish out what was started. So, hello, Oz. Thank you for popping in. I sort of went back and forth about jumping onto it just because Derek and I did our stream last night, and that's a lot of time. Plus, you know, I have my Sunday stream, and if the stars align, I will be jumping on Saturday for someone else. But I was like, I need to finish this book in 2024, and that does not happen if I don't stick to a schedule. So yeah, here we are. And it's Ram Man. Like, Ram Man, I feel like is, for me, one of those characters who, as a kid, I didn't really appreciate the action figure that much. He was not necessarily the cutest of the MOTU characters, and but I've come to appreciate the design the older I get. So, and it's just a fun page. So, I'm going to do this as though he's bursting into Snake Mountain. So for the rocks and the grout and stuff, I'm going to go with like purples just so that it has that sort of look of Snake Mountain. Makes more sense to me than Grace. I mean, when they drew this, it was still at a place where Grayskull was ambiguous. It wasn't like for the good guys or the bad guys. The interesting thing about this book is it falls in between the various, the sort of the Alcala Wave 1 mini comic sort of world and the DC comic stuff that was happening at this time, as well as Filmation. So this book, because it landed in '84, is a really interesting mix of all of those different eras of early MOTU. So, the artist probably intended this to be Castle Grayskull or just some general medieval castle. So, but we're gonna do some purples and Snake Mountain it up a bit. Plus, I have done a lot of interior Grayskull stuff, and I'm a little tired of the green, so let's do a little purple. And now that I'm sort of doing this, I see I need to finish my bricks. So, sweet. I know you've been excited about those. Thank you. It was a lot of fun. Derek and I had fun doing that, so we'll probably start trying to do more of those. We were already talking about New York Comic Con in October, doing a similar after party thingy. So yeah, right. Yeah, that was sort of part of what our stream ended up was me just sort of breaking down all of the old concepts of Grayskull and sort of the various vintage MOTU stuff that it looks like they pulled from to make the current incarnation of the snake layer. And I get why people, like may not like it. For me, it seems really weird when people have these arguments that don't quite, when people are like, it doesn't look like MOTU, it's like, but which MOTU? Like, Masters of the Universe went through so much design change during the course of the vintage line that that's really hard. I mean, Rio Blast doesn't necessarily look like MOTU, but he looks like MOTU in '86. That's what, sort of how it evolved. So, I don't know. I think people want reasons other than they just don't like something to sort of make up. And I think we, as adult toy collectors, need to just get to a place where we're okay with saying, I don't like it. And it can be, there are some places where, like, I feel like your opinion needs to be fact-based. I feel like when it comes to toys and spending money on luxuries, it's okay to, like, just not feel something. Like, my feeling is I don't like this thing. I don't think people need to have to make up. I just think that's sort of, I think we feel like in a lot of cases we have to justify things. And I think toys are one of those cases where we are fine just for whatever emotional or lack of emotional connection to something, just not liking it. So I think it's a case where people, there are a lot of places I feel like people should step away from feeling based when they make an opinion, but I think toy collecting, it's a place where it's a lot of money. We have limited space. If you just don't like something and it's your feeling, just don't feel it. It's cool. Like, that's emotional maturity, I think, when it comes to toys. If you're just not feeling it, and I don't think there needs to be some deep reason for it. I don't know. It seems counterproductive for something that's supposed, like for me, the adult collecting thing is supposed to be about the enjoyment of it, the joy that it brings me. And maybe it's because I get a lot of joy from doing all the coloring book stuff, but it's a lot easier for me to, step back and just go like, yeah, if I'm not feeling it, I'm not feeling it. So, all right, we've got people's, hello, Derek, lovely. Yeah, for those who watched last night that maybe don't know, Derek is the host of the Yesterday's podcast. Go check him out. Hello, Nick. Yep, exactly, the original OG. Actually, I think he came a little after, but it all works. Hello, Speaking Moistly, lovely to see you. And hello, Pain. And Rolando just rolled in. Hello, Rolando, lovely day. And great to see you all today. And as mentioned, I'm just sort of working on this Ram Man page today and talking off the top of my head. So if you were looking for structured stuff, probably not going to happen today, but that's okay. If you do have specific things that you want to talk about, feel free to mention it in chat. Because it is me completely by myself today, I do sometimes get lost in the coloring part of it and don't look at chat as much as I need to learn to. So you're not technically being ignored, I'm just distracted. But I will get to you in chat, so ask away. Yeah, anyway, I was really excited when I realized I had this Ram Man. This is, I think, the only Ram Man page in the entire book. And it's a pretty good page. Like, I was really excited when I realized it was there. I've actually never, as a kid, I never colored any Ram Man. So it's extra fun because this is the first time I'm coloring a Ram Man in the entire... I had this particular book as a kid, but I just colored my favorite pages over and over. Like, my mom... I know she would have gotten annoyed, but she had to buy me some. My favorite coloring books I often got 3 or 4 times over, which is why modern technology is so great. I can just buy it once, scan it, and then print it out however many times. So, not all technology is evil, but yeah, so the first Ram Man coloring ever, and just everyone saying hello. Excellent. But you're all popping in. These are sort of quieter streams because I don't have guests. But nothing wrong with that. And it's part of this project. I will be solo streaming again Sunday morning. For those who do watch regularly, know I usually have a guest, and that's technically gonna stay the same, but I have decided, and it came to me as if it's some deep, meaningful thing. In the aftermath of my 1 year on YouTube stream with Derek and Oz and Chris Plastic and Johnny from BF Out. I'm trying to think, I'm missing somebody who jumped on with us. For everyone else there, I apologize. I'm still waking up. It's my day job day off, so I slept in. So not had all the coffee it takes to be completely on top of things. But in the aftermath of that, I realized I don't, even with the community tab, I don't talk about what I'm doing with the channel a lot. So I'm going to start on the first Sunday of every month, doing a solo live stream Sunday morning. I'm just going to talk about the content I'm working on and asking for, pop in, let me know if there's a particular page, particular coloring book I have that you've seen me do pages from. And I'm happy to work in content from the coloring books. My unattainable goal is I'm going to color every page in every book, which will not happen because time is finite for most of us. But if I get eternal life, you're going to know exactly, because you will be 70 years old and I'll still be on the internet coloring pages from these old books. But yeah, so I'll be doing that Sunday morning. And I'm working on a page from one of my Supergirl the movie coloring books. And I'll talk about Supergirl more Sunday morning. Because I got a bunch of Supergirl content this month, because why not? Nobody else is doing it. So yeah. Hello, Jay. Lovely to see you. I need to ping you because I need to get Jay on here. Jay Bartlett on here. I realize at this point I have to make sure people know which Jay I'm talking about. But I need to get Jay Bartlett on here sometime and color something in chat. If you aren't watching Jay's stream, you should. I didn't get to up in time this morning to watch. You've been doing Donkey Kong still, right? So, he even was doing some games the other day that I recognized that from my arcade days. So, So I'm not a big video game player anymore, other than my mobile Star Wars game. And Marvel, is it Marvel Straight? I don't know, it's a Marvel game where you collect people and then you do fights and get points and collect things. So it's fun. I'm just gonna keep sort of adding layers of different purples to these bricks. Well, to the grout, not the bricks yet, but to the bricks. Sweet, I figured you would be. And I don't get enough Canadians on my channel, so I gotta, keep the international flavor. So far, it's mostly been US-based people. I've had Andrew from Gaby's Toys a couple times, and he's coming back in this month. It's August now, so he'll be back. And but I think other than Ken, I did an interview with from Toy Connections for Delta 17's Death Sparrow, but I haven't had Ken on here to color. So I don't know if we can get that, but Ken seems like he will not be able to loosen up enough to relax and color. So we'll see. No Ken. Who doesn't love Ken? So yeah, so we've got sort of all the grout done. I think I'm going to do for the background here, I think I'm going to do like a dark sky. I don't necessarily call it nighttime sky because because of the way I often draw Eternia, sometimes the sky is dark even though it's daytime. And even in the Filmation cartoon, there were times where it was like daylight and the sky was like a dark purple or a dark pink or whatever, so. No, typical fantasy world with nondescript sky stuff. So we're gonna lean into that for this page today. Alright, so we've got all the grout done. I'm gonna do the bricks. This is the fun part. And for that, I am going to use Amethyst, which is a very light purple, but this is just a base. I'm going to go in with a darker color on top of it. I'm just going to start this as the first layer of color, because I do want them to pop and stand out from the darker grout. Now this is like, I'm going to picture it as a Snake Mountain outpost. Could be completely unrelated, but I think it works. Or it's like the gateway to Snake Mountain. That was something that never made sense to me as a kid, was like, could you only fly into Snake Mountain? Because it looked like it was just covered in clouds and stuff. I never remember seeing the base of that mountain, so I've always sort of wondered how, other than flying, did you get to Snake Mountain? Because it would show them sometimes like driving in the Attack Track minivan, and but never actually like that I remember. And it's possible I probably have not seen all of the episodes because there were so many. There was a point where I bought the DVDs and I watched a bunch of them. But it was that thing where it's like you put them on, you watch a little bit, and then you get up and wander off. Or you jump on the internet onto Facebook and argue with people. And because those episodes are so short, 2 or 3 of them would pass anytime you were yelling at somebody for being stupid. Oh, Facebook. At least it's been consistent since 2008 in that respect. Just more, just doing the bricks. This page might go pretty quick. If I finish it on stream, I'll just wrap up early. because I don't have any other pages from this book that would go quickly, and I've got a few appointments after this that I can't. So if I start something separate, I just won't get finished until next month when I do my next MOTU 84 stream, and that seriously messes with my OCD. So. Oh yeah, that could be like a new spy character or some such. Jericho Alonso. When 007 is not available. It needs a really good theme song though. We need to get somebody into it. Would have to be synthwave. It would need to be 80s based. I picture him like sort of the Don Johnson, Miami Vice version of James Bond. He'd be like based in Florida in the 80s, and it'd be a lot of 80s white linen and aqua blue and neon green. And you'd have to have a big old power boat. And that would, I'm in. It's 2 dots. Alright, so this is a darker purple. I'm just going to use this to sort of go in. This one is, yeah, something dioxide purple. It's got a really fancy name. I'm just going to go in and sort of shade the stones a little bit. Try to give them some depth. So, and I realized based on the framing, some of this is out of frame. I do apologize. To get set up for Livestream, I have a slightly different setup than when I film just videos, so some stuff ends up off camera. There's not really a way to fix that without going to blocking. So, I have not figured out how to get around that yet. I think some of it is just once we get moved and we're in a new place, I'll be able to set up something that works for both live streaming and filming, so I'm not having to change. So I do apologize for that. It's a work in progress. And then after putting the purple down, I'm just going to go back in with this amethyst and sort of blend it so that it gets sort of rougher look. A lot of the 80s MOTU is very day glow, and I'm not necessarily looking for that right here. I want this one to be a little darker so that when I do Ram Man, he'll be in brighter colors and he'll stand out a lot more that way. So the goal is to keep Ram Man sort of the star of the show. And so. And another reason to sort of use these purples and this palette with it instead of going green with Grayskull. And I kind of feel like he might get a little lost based on the sort of angle they have him out in this picture if I went with all the greens and stuff. Which, there we go. I'm not sure why that happened. But there we go. We're back. Gotta love random tech things. So at least I was looking and caught that when it happened. So, okay. Alright, yeah, I'm liking how the darker with the lighter is working, so that'll work pretty good. Alright. Time to change the music, I think. Oh, yeah, no, that's not any better. Okay, we're gonna just have to do that. Ooh, that dance pop was not good. Sorry, guys. It now lets me load music into here. Before, every time I would try to load music, it would, StreamYard would not upload it, and now it's letting me actually do my own music, so I'm gonna get some stuff added so that I've got more variety than what StreamYard offers. It's too bad the way copyright works, because usually when I'm doing pages, I have YouTube stuff playing in the background. And even if it's just YouTube music, but most of the stuff I would want to play, copyright would get. So it's hard to have backing music. I do have a bunch of royalty-free stuff I can upload that I can play, so long as I put it the attributes in the description of the video. Go back in with the slider, coloring all the things on these rocks. There we go. And almost done with the frogs. Just a few more little things with it. It's really the least exciting part of the page. But technically the most important, depending on the overall vibe you're going for. It's a very artistic journal. Oh, okay. Yeah, that looks really nice. Okay, and the rocks are done. Alright, I'm gonna do the ground now. I'm not quite sure. It's technically supposed to be Snake Mountain. I'm not quite sure. Any other than it's going to be sort of pinkish green. I haven't fully decided on how to. I think blue would be too much. Green is also, I think, I'm gonna have the vibe. So, yeah, I think we'll just start with the deco pink. She's in trouble with that. Yeah, I think the deco pink is the. It'll match sort of the walls. Since it's a ground, I'm going to do sort of really uneven strokes that are in different, with different pressure. This is again sort of the first layer of color I'm putting down for texture, but also it'll help. Once I lay a few other colors down onto this, it will help give it a sort of a gravelly look, I guess is what I think of in my head when I say it. So. I'm going with hot pink now. And again, sort of the same concept. I'm just gonna really unevenly lay this in. This is not sort of the final layer either. This is just sort of giving it the texture I want that I think ground in theory would have. So. And now I'm going to use mulberry. It also needs to be sharpened. I've got to get in the habit of when I finish with pencils, sharpening them before putting them away. Life's so much easier. I'm just going to go in and start layering that on top of the other two. I don't want necessarily full coverage with it, because I want those undercolors to poke through and give it sort of like ground doesn't have a consistent look to it. Like it's not all a solid color. There are all the gradients. There are different layers to it. So this is just sort of to mimic that. And again, trying to go for this a snake mountain-esque color scheme. And now I'm going to go back in with the hot pink and sort of blend it. And basically smear it around just a little bit. I do want to get a little bit more of the white out of it, out from the page. They don't necessarily want that to completely disappear because it is part of how it gives it a texture. Is that the bit of white that looks good. So. I feel like the ground looks pretty good. Now I'm going to do the sky. So I'm going to go darker with the sky. But I need to, of course, avoid purples because I have so many purples that it will get lost. And even though I said I'm going to go darker, I'm going to start with this really light sky blue. Also, I'm going to, it's time to add a little bit of a planet, I think. I'm going to add one sort of right here. Planet, I mean something like that laid out. So I'm just going to add this really light powder blue all around. This will help me figure out the edges of all sort of where the splinters are going to go, where the wood is, where he is. So that when I go in and do that, I don't miss spots. Alright, first layer of blue. So I'm going to set the powder blue over here. Actually, I apologize, that's cloud blue. But I'm going to probably use the cloud blue for this moon or the planet, whatever it ends up being. I'm going to go in with periwinkle now, which is a darker grayish blue. I'm going to start adding that into the sky. I feel like it'll help make everything stand out, especially when I get in there and start doing the planks of wood and the bits of metal. And Rayman himself. So. Help it all stand out, I think. Right, and those are the two lighter blues. I'm going to go on with ultramarine now, which is much darker. And then just again, I'm going to do this pretty lightly. I just want this to be a blue that doesn't look like an earth sky blue, because again, this is sort of Eternia, it's in outer space. It should be, want to be a little fantastical. And now I'm going to go in and add an even darker blue. And that is the last of the blue sky. I'm going with the cloud blue now. And let's give a glow to where it's sort of the moon is. Assuming this is moon. So I'm going with. And since I drew it and added it to the page, I can dictate that. Sort of do a little bit of a blend and a blur around the edges of it. And I'm going to use the blue to fill in the rest of that. Let's keep it really heavy up in here and down. There we go. I'm going to use this electric blue, and this I'm going to go again around sort of where the halo of the moon should be, and just add some of that around it. And try to get it sort of like that glow in the sky. And now I'm going to go in with my light paint pen, and I'm going to add some stars. And since it's Eternia, maybe a couple green stars in there. So keep the sky not too much of the same colors. And then a few yellow stars here and there. That finishes up the sky. Now I'm going to do what's left of that door. Let's see. So for the metal parts of the door, I'm going to go gold. That'll work. So I'm going to start with Deco Yellow, and then just get all of the metal parts. And the shade of gold I'm going to go for, I'm going to use the burnt ochre next. Just sort of go in and start sort of the way I make gold. Since the average gold color pencil is not really good at making a realistic gold effect. Next up, I'm going to use my friend Spanish Orange. I'm just going to use that to go over the burnt ochre. I'm going to help start adding sort of that really bright gold look. And since Randman is got a lot of silver, the gold seems like a better choice. It's going to stand out more if my pencil will not blend. If the color pencil doesn't break. Let's try it again. And now I'm going to go back in with the depth of middle and just sort of smooth all of that out. Hello, Christopher. Welcome. Happy Friday. In time to see some Randman. I'm almost to him to start off the page. I'm just finishing up the door hinges and all of that. And then we're going to do the blanks, the wood, and then we're going to get to Randman. So. How is your Friday going, Christopher? A lot of you on the East Coast should start being actually off work by now, so hopefully your work day has ended. Alright, so the gold hinges and stuff are done. Excellent. I can't wait to see what you are working on. Alright, now I'm gonna do all this wood. I'm just gonna do it as brown wood. I think anything else would get a little too much as far as if I tried to go like super weird color with it or super more fantastical. I think I think the purple for the rocks is sufficient as far as sort of the fantasy vibe. I always can't remember where I read it, but there was somebody who was talking about art, and they said one of the ways for fantasy that people sometimes make mistakes is it always goes too far, where everything is sort of over the top, and then sort of said that you can solve the fantastical elements as more realistic if some of the stuff is still sort of mundane and normal looking, and normal, of course, being quite subjective. Something that is relatable to the average person who is looking upon the art. So we're just going to do the wood as if it's wood from the planet Earth, and it's brown, and it's been stained, of course. I know it was not any of my art teachers who said that, because they were always, all of my art teachers had me working on realism, because their whole belief was you needed to work on what was real before you moved to sort of fantastical, and if you didn't have a good grasp of real dimensions and real objects, your fantasy stuff would not look as good, because it would be there wouldn't be any basis in the way you constructed it in sort of actual physics. So, I don't know if I believe that, but I do still sort of operate from that point of view. I'm going to go in with, it's called Sandbar Brown. It's a very sort of dull, almost mousy brown shade. I'm going to make that the next level for the wood planks. And I'm going to use this to sort of do lines and sort of to create sort of like a grain on the wood pieces. So some of this will be darker, some of it will be lighter. I'm not going to be consistent with this because the goal here is to sort of give it that normal, sort of the normal grain look that you see with wood. So, and grain is very much a good. So, especially once you start like staining the wood, and like it gets weathering and usage just from day to day. Like if it's a part of the door where people put their hands on the door, the oils from your hand will sort of fade it or make other stuff. Just make it an inconsistent sort of color. So go in and not even do it all with straight lines, because there's knots in the walls and stuff in the way wood sort of looks. So I'll make it that layer. There we have the green. And then we go in with another brown. I'm just going to kind of shape with this. I'm not going to do full coverage with this one. Just to add a little bit more brown in there. And I'm going to extend some of that to the sort of the side of the planks. And this will help. And these parts wouldn't have been exposed to the sun, so they're going to have a different sort of look than sort of the facing side of the planks. So it's just sort of the exciting part of art. So hello, Bob. Welcome. Nice to see you. How are you today? I can't mean to email you to see if we need to do another pre-record soon. You should. I will try to remember. I've got so many people I need to reach out to this weekend. I hope you're doing well. Nice. New games are good though. Once a Human. I'll have to look that one up. As I mentioned earlier on the stream, I don't play a lot of games these days other than a couple mobile ones. But I really need to fix that. I used to some of it is because I got really absorbed with the all the Resident Evil games to the point where at one point I was calling out sick to work so that I could keep playing. And I'm like, that's a little bit extreme. So I sort of stopped playing around that time and have not picked up console gaming since. Oh, nice. Nice. Okay, I'll have to look that up. Free to play is a good way to start, usually. I love the Discord. Oh, it's coming out pretty nice, actually. It always feels weird when I'm doing, like, sort of the wood stuff, like, I do so much like strawberry shortcake where it's like a lot of that wood ends up being green or like a bright yellow because that's sort of the aesthetic of strawberry shortcake. But doing something a little bit more realistic is almost a challenge at this point because I'm so used to doing stuff that is fantasy. I mean, it's kind actually, I mean, like, I don't know, most people would think of that, but strawberry shortcake is very much a fantasy sort of world. There's a strain made of strawberry soda. It doesn't get more fantastical than that. So, but sometimes we'll throw in sort of realistic wood. Just having a while. I've been enjoying sort of doing everything with like the wood and sort of all the sort of the fantasy of it when I do strawberry shortcake pages. Well, there we go. So yeah. Let's see what Christopher. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like if I pay too much attention to games, it's a rabbit hole I will not recover from. I guess there are also worse things. Alright, so I've got dark brown here. And I'm going to go in with the dark brown and just really unevenly dark brown in places. And to also hopefully give a little bit more depth to the work. And help some of the individual planks hopefully stand out a little bit more. Try to keep it to everything but sort of the side part, the sides of the planks that would have been not exposed to light. I'm going to try to keep those light. Oh yeah, that's helping a lot. There we go. I love it when a hazy half-formed seat of your pants sort of idea works out. Alright, that finishes sort of that layer of it. I'm going to go in with the espresso, which is really dry. And just a few of these places, add a little extra shading. In places where I think it should be a little darker. Alright, and there we go, and all the wood is mostly done. At least the front facing pieces. I'm going to go in with the Deco Yellow again, and just sort of on the sides, just add a little bit more of this to help sort of distinguish them. And down sort of where the splintery part is, add a little bit more of the Deco Yellow. It should help it sort of stand out a little bit more so that all the brown doesn't blend too much. Okay, and there we go. Alright, the next, of course, big question becomes, should I go for traditional Randman colors, or do I go for the cross cell, which is orange and red, and the toy itself is red and green, so I'm trying to figure that out right now. I think I'm going to go with the orange and the red. I think that'll stand out a lot more with everything else than the green will. I almost feel like the green for the pants would get lost. So, especially because the boots are black. So yeah, let's do that. This is probably the only Randman page I will color in 2024, so let's do it upright so he's extra memorable. Because again, I don't think there's another Randman page in this book. And I don't have a lot of other Masters of the Universe stuff planned for 2024. What I do definitely does not have Randman. So, as this is one time to shine this year. Of course, some of the stuff that comes later does have more Randman in it, so it's not his only chance ever, just his only chance in 2024 when something radically changes. So, let's do his black boots. And it's red there. I'm going to use poppy red, which is sort of an orangish red. Use that for the pants. I thought that part feel a little bit better before we got started. Oh, whatever. Oh, we're on path to finish on time or a little early, so obviously it's not a detriment today. That's the poppy red. And now we're going to go in with pomegranate, which is darker red. Use that to sort of shade it and just give it a little texture. To help the red pop a little more. And we'll just go back in with the poppy red and sort of blend those in a little bit. There we go. And now for his top. So most of this is sort of like silver and metal, but this part is not. So we're going to start here. Sort of go around all the stuff. Let's see, orange. Just going to go in and darken it now. And I'm just going to use this one orange, and I'm going to use different pressures and use the tooth of the page not covered on to help give some texture to the fabric. And so with the cardstock paper that I use, I find I can get some texture and sort of a shaded look to it without having to have a lot of colors, depending on the pressures that I use. And it really works, especially with these old coloring books that have it's not as easy to get in and do details just based on how the pages are laid out and the way they're drawn. These are designed for coloring books for little kids. So sometimes the art isn't conductive to getting in there and really sort of trying to get super artistic with it. But like I said, the paper does definitely. It's part of why I like this paper I use. Alright, here we go. We've got his orange tunic. And the rest of his outfit is not colored with silver, and the rest of this is a big skin. I'm not going to do silver just because, like with the gold pencils, a lot of gold colored pencils, a lot of silver colored pencils don't actually achieve a good silver effect. So I tend to use grays and blacks. So I'm going to start with 10% French gray. It's very, very light, but it works. It's a good place to start. I've got a little bit of a smear from all the blue. It's okay. We're going to call that a reflection. So one of the things I don't like about Prismacolor blue pencils is they seem to smear a lot more than any of the other colors. So sometimes if you see me doing like a short, and you'll wonder why I left some random part. Like there's a Barbie short I did recently where I did everything but her shirt, and the shirt was last. And it was because I needed to use the glue, and I didn't want to smear it all over the place. Because it seems like with the blue, no matter how I hold my hand over the page, I still end up smearing it all over the place. And it tends to be just Prismacolor I have that issue with. I don't even several of the other wax-based colored pencils I use, I don't have the same issues with the blue. So I don't know if it's something in the way they make their blue pencils, or I just have weird luck and it only is bad with blue Prismacolors, and every blue pencil and every company makes has the same issue. So you may never know. So that's one of the lightest grays that can be used. I'm going with this slightly darker one, which is 20% cool gray, and I use this a lot for silvers. And for it, I'm not actually going to do full coverage. I'm just going to sort of shade with it on top of that light French gray that I used. And that helps give it a silver, sort of a silvery look. Diddy, I am gonna have to. I haven't been able to catch any of his gaming streams yet, so I'll have to check out Adam's streams to see how those are going. It's funny how busy everything gets. There was a time where I was able to catch everybody's stream and everybody's every video every day, and it's just lately it's been so hard to stay on top of everything. I'm hoping that's just summer and not like a sign of things to come. I quite like having time to watch everything. So. Yeah, just using the gray to this darker gray to sort of shade to help create that illusion of like a metallic silver. And this is one of the things when I started making plans for the channel that it took me a while to figure out silver, and I was really overthinking it. Just like get a couple different grays of different value and figure out what works for you. Whereas I was trying to do like powder blue and black, and it was a mess. It did not work. And then I was just like, I am overthinking this. But it's really easy for me anyway, to overthink stuff like that. I think in general, a lot of us human beings try to make things more complex than they are for a myriad of reasons. And, you know, everyone's experiences are different, but for me, it's like sometimes you get used to things being more complicated and more difficult, and then it's just like that's the filter you see everything through. There's some stuff that is just really easy. And you don't, yeah, and you can save yourself a lot of time by just letting it be easy. Yeah, it's pretty good. I am happy with this. Well, how it's turning out. We still have to do his skin. I think that finishes all the metal parts. Nice. Oh, I almost forgot the belt down here. We will fix that. I feel like that's pretty good. I don't know that it needs. I don't know. Actually, it does. Sorry. Just looking at it, I'm like, it needs just a little bit more tinkering. Not a lot, just a little bit of this really, this 90% warm gray in a few places to, again, help sort of sell that silver metallic look to it. And just in a few places, just it doesn't need a lot. Alright, and there we go. I'm not sure what's going on between StreamYard and my phone today, but it is not enjoying it. Alright, all we have left is this spinner. He tends to be portrayed as either really pale or sort of reddish in complexion. So I'm just going to start with eggshell. I'll probably use an orange rather than, usually use like pumpkin and a pencil called nectar to sort of give it a, give my Caucasian skin tones a specific look. I'm just going to use orange and peaches today. Orange I'm going to use is I'm going to use the orange cadmium. It's pretty bright as far as oranges go, but once I bring in a peach, it'll tone that down. It seems like the best. And then sort of as far as using red, so I think this way more orangey color will work better for him. Just use it to sort of shade and do a bit of definition for his fingers and whatnot. His elbow. Very good. And then I'm actually going to use its pink salmon. This is a really sort of orangey peachy color. I'm going to use that to sort of blend it all down. And I'm going to let this be his sketch. I feel like that fits your box pretty good. For me in the cartoons, he always, and the figure himself, always looked really pale, like he probably sunburned, but he took his helmet off. So I always imagined he was sort of, he was like sort of ginger, almost like, what is that name of the dwarf character from Lord of the Rings? Anyway, like the dwarf from Lord of the Rings. So I'm going to sort of give him that sort of salmony pink, orangey skin tone. I think it'll work. And again, I'm not going to do full coverage. I'm going to leave some of it sort of around the edges and whatnot. Just sort of that original eggshell. But just again, that helps give it a, for me, a very sort of the suggestion of realism. There's no such, in my opinion, you can definitely come at me if you disagree. I don't think you can actually make anything look real. Realism is sort of an illusion, and there are a lot of ways to create it. And I feel like a lot of that is through shading because of the depth it gives. So I feel like I can get a realistic skin tone sort of through this. And again, I could be wrong. I don't know everything. Most of this is just... we have to remember in my old art training from old art classes, and I've watched a lot of YouTube videos where people do stuff like this. Alright. Oh, and he's done. So, yeah, he has sort of a paler pink color, so I feel like this gets pretty close to that. I agree. That would be really cool. I feel like they could do some fun stuff. Yeah, right? Yeah, that's, yeah, I can tell the difference between somebody who's tan and somebody who's not. I kind of get the Superman, Clark Kent thing now that I wear glasses, because like I it's not like we look radically different, but it's different enough that I can see why people would be fooled with the sort of personality shift between Clark and Superman. But He-Man and Adam, I never got. Sit here. Thank you, Dave. You know, it's easy. You should see where I started before I started filming stuff and putting it on the internet. Just when I started practicing, I've come a long way. It used to be really flat, and just me using adult color, you know, sort of adult fancy art supplies, and coloring like I used to with Crayola. It took a while to sort of break my brain out of that and into sort of getting a little bit fancier with these old pages. So anyway, it's a little early, but he's done, and I don't have time to start anything new. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up. Came out really good. I'm gonna obviously do the thing I do where I take a picture and stick it on Instagram. Just because StreamYard and my iPhone sometimes don't get along, so you don't always get, sadly, the best view of some of these pages, but it will be on Instagram. And I will be live streaming again Sunday by myself on purpose. And I'm going to start, as I mentioned at the top of the stream, I'm going to start doing that the first Sunday of each month. And just sort of channel news and to sort of be here for you guys if you want to pop in and ask questions or make suggestions. Like if there's a particular Masters of the Universe character or whatever you'd like me to see do a short on, or include in one of the... I'm doing the Color and Chill Spectaculars, which has 4 or 5 pages in them now. So if there's a particular character you would like me to do, or even a property, pop in and pop in and chat with me Sunday morning, and I will see what I can work in. Now that I'm not doing a short every single day, I have a little bit more time to do things that are a little bit more free, like it's not all as structured for that stuff. So I have more room. Okay, really quick. Let's go. Yeah, he did that because very much modeled on. That was sort of the height of the Arnold Schwarzenegger, like Mr. Universe, all of that. So the sort of that tan. I don't know if it was spray tan back then or if it was literally just suntan. Like his fake tans back then were like off. Like it was not. They have refined it over the years. That literally was just like orange. It just looks like a lot of baby oil and a lot of sun and a lot of skin cancer. So yeah, I think there are a lot of people sort of our age who grew up with He-Man where that's where it started, but Mattel was tapping into something that was happening at the time. And yeah, exactly. Well, I think, and what I will say, Christopher, is I think the fact that he has Speaking Moistly has Merman as his avatar, like that's what I picture Speaking Moistly of, is that merman voice. When Sean Daly was here, he did the merman voice. He does a really good merman voice. So if you guys ever sort of run into him, ask for his merman voice because he does really good merman. Yeah, that's in a little bit, and I'm gonna catch most of that because today, after this, I'm gonna go eat lunch and start dinner, and then I'm just gonna set up the filming area and film a bunch of videos. So I will be watching the Jay Bartlett stream. I may not be chatting a lot just because sometimes it's hard to move away from what I'm working on, but I will be there watching, listening. So hopefully I'll see you all there. And I thank you all for popping in and hanging out with me today. I do these every other Friday. Next time we do this, I'll be doing a Star Wars page, Jedi Knight Luke, from a 1997 coloring book. And then next month, I will have another page from this 1984 Masters of the Universe coloring book. Because, as mentioned many times, I'm going to finish this book in 2024. And I'm doing pretty good. This says page 34 on the bottom. I've done almost 40 pages from this book, and it's got like 70. So it's doable. So anyway, I thank you very much. For those of you who enjoyed the toy booklets, tomorrow Superpowers Wave 2 hits, and heads up, there were no booklets, there was just a poster. I scanned my poster and formatted it to look like a booklet, but that will be there for you to enjoy Superpowers Wave 2. I have another mask video coming up. It's the same thing where I took the poster. And then I have the last of the Kenner booklets from 1988 and 1992 that will be landing in the next few weeks. I finally got around to scanning them. So more toy booklet fun coming, more coloring. Hopefully I'll see you guys on Sunday. If not, I understand there's so much going on. But I appreciate you. I'm glad you guys are... Thank you. I appreciate you guys hanging out. I like doing these. I like you guys showing up and hanging out. So I will see you all around in the chats. Allison Troy, Retro Toy Princess, out.